My name is Jody Curtis, and this is the first of the month, the first Wednesday of the month. So this is the beginner's class where I give a little introduction to what the science of mental physics is. And also I'll demonstrate the breaths before we do each one and guide you through it. So I got Mindy coming on there twice. So to get started, I wanted to just tell you a little bit about what mental physics is. It is a philosophy of thought that bridges the gap between science and spirituality. And it was brought to the West by Edwin Dingle. He was an Englishman who was working in the Orient for about 21 years, and he was studying with these great masters. And he made a caravan and took a trip across China into Tibet, really when no white men were even allowed to make that journey. And he ended up in a monastery where he was recognized as a returning Lama. He passed the Lama test, and they said that when they had been waiting for him to come back, and when he came back and showed up there, that would be the time then to send these sacred teachings to the West. So he, back in the day in the 1920s, when he started and founded the Institute of Mental Physics, it was in New York, and then he actually moved it to, he created another center in Los Angeles, and he ultimately came out to the desert where I am now in 1941, I think it was, where he started the Institute of Mental Physics in Joshua Tree, California. And during its heyday, there were 300,000 students practicing, and still today they practice in multiple countries all over the world. In India, there's a huge following, and they call it Brahma Vidya, which is the breath of life. And there's just a lot of people practicing it still today. This is going to be like as quick as I can actually get it to teach the basic principles of the 8 key breaths of mental physics. The whole study itself is more involved. There's 26 initiate group course lessons that introduce each of the 8 key breaths, along with spiritual principles and basic understandings. And then if after the 26 weeks, you enjoy that and you want to continue on, there's the inner chamber, which is 123 lessons. And so another 123 weeks. And then finally, the preceptor teacher training course. So there's a lot of it involved. I just was called with, the conditions of the world when the whole pandemic thing happened. I just felt really called to teach these basic breaths. It kept coming to me in meditation that the breath is the thing that really unites everyone around the whole world, the breath of life, the breath that without which there is no life. So I thought, I feel like it's a good time to do things that are inclusive for all people in the world. I think what else I want to tell you about it. Mindy, anything I'm forgetting? Karen, anybody?
Well, you've done all those classes, right, that you just talked about. You did the 26, and then you did the 150, and then there's another teacher's class. Those you're trained in, correct?
Yeah, I've been doing the training for I've been practicing for maybe 11 years in this life. And then I've been teaching probably about 9 of those years. So I was teaching over at the center and then just started doing this stuff online. And it's been fun. It's been really fun. So get ready. It's he called it a super yoga of the West. So we're going to be doing some physical movements. You want to make sure you have some space around you because your arms are going to be moving. You also want to have a box of Kleenex to make sure your nasal passages are clear. The first 2 breaths, they really need to be clear for that. And I'm going to do a little meditation and prayer to get us started. So once you find your comfortable spot, just go ahead and sit down, and we'll get into the silence for a few minutes. Now, the first Wednesday, as I mentioned, is the beginning class with the instruction. And then every following Wednesday, we just hop on Zoom and practice together. We go straight through the recording in Ding LeMay's voice. So Edwin Dingle, the Englishman, when he ended up at the monastery, they renamed him Ding Lamay, which means great man. And so I will be demonstrating the breaths, and then we'll sit down for the meditation after each in Ding Lamay's voice. So you can kind of get a feel for the original teachings and what they are. So for right now, we just want to relax into our center. All the mental physics breaths are done through the nose, breathing in through the nose, deep diaphragmatic breathing. So as you're breathing in, the air is coming all the way down into the belly, just like a baby breathes. You could put your right hand on your lower belly and your left hand on your lower belly and your right hand on your upper chest. And you can feel when you're breathing, if you're breathing correctly, your belly will come way out. So the air should go down into the belly first, into the middle chest, upper chest, throat, and then exhaling gently. Just practice breathing that way for a couple minutes. The science of mental physics is a science of feeling. So we're going to be doing a lot of feeling after the breath work that we're doing. Every time we're doing a breath and then we're sitting in the meditation afterwards, we're feeling into our body. And now as we're here together, we're just giving thanks for showing up today and doing something good for ourselves, for our body, our mind, our spirit. We give thanks for being able to come together in this way and practice and learn new things. Centering ourselves in the energy of gratitude. Silently set your own intention. Today's the full moon. It's actually a wonderful time to set your intentions and to let go of anything that doesn't serve you anymore. So while we're doing the breath practice, this is actually a perfect way to get things that no longer serve us up and out of our body. That is one of the reasons we go through these systematic breaths, because they activate all our cells, our healing capacity. We're breathing in prana, which is like soul force energy that exists in the air, but it's separate from the air. So we're breathing that in, charging every cell of our body, activating the light within ourselves. And as a natural consequence, anything that no longer serves us is being pushed out as we're developing and recognizing and charging the light that is who we are in our very nature. Almighty God, eternal fount of wisdom, grant us all knowledge and understanding and wisdom, that we may speak here words of truth, love, and hope. We ask for light from the higher spheres, and may our guides guard and control our mind and tongue, so that nothing but the truth may here be given, and that the good seed sown may find fertile spots to live and grow. And those who are now in darkness and obscurity may be brought forth into the radiant sunshine and the joyous glory of the unfoldment of true spiritual goodness. And now with our imagination, because in our imagination we can do anything, we imagine a great wall of golden light about us. And nothing can penetrate or pierce this light as it holds us protectingly in its own essence. Above us, the higher ones in the great hierarchy of universal wisdom, holding over us that gossamer substance that forms a panoply under which we rest together in this great peace. Big deep breath in through the belly, all the way up. Let it out with a big sigh. And so the first breath is called the harmonic or balancing breath. This one can be done anytime, and this is not part of the 8 key breaths. This is just something that actually balances the left and right hemispheres of your brain. And in other yogic practices, it's just referred to as alternate nostril breathing. In mental physics, the count is, we have our right nostril plugged. The count is the in breath for 4, hold for 16, then we unplug the opposite nostril and exhale for the count of 8. And then again, through the open nostril, we inhale 4, hold for 16, and exhale 8. So let's try that one together. This is, like I said, this is great for doing anywhere. If you're in the car, if you're feeling anxious, anything like that. The left side of the body is negative, like we're like a battery. There's negative and positive poles to our being. The left side is the negative side, and it corresponds to the circulatory system. So when we're breathing in through the left nostril, the breath is coming in and it's going down the side of the spine, and it's actually charging up our negative, not negative in a bad sense, just negative like positive and negative poles of a battery. It's charging up our left side, and then alternately when we're doing the right, it's coming in, it's corresponding to our nervous system, and it's going up and around. So people's nostrils change throughout the day. A healthy person's nostrils will shift every couple of hours. We've all probably had the experience of having one nostril clogged and the other one totally open. If your left nostril is taking in more air, then you're going to feel a little bit lethargic, because that is the circulatory system. It's slower. If you're taking in more air through the right, if your right nostril is a little bit bigger, then you're actually more anxious. You're taking in more air into your nervous system. So the harmonic or balancing breath does just that. It just balances the brain, and it helps a lot with anxiety and depression on either side. It just helps balance the system. So here we go together. We're going to plug the right nostril, giving thanks for the breath of our life, inhaling for the count of 4, hold for 16, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14, 15, 16. Unplug the right, exhale for 8. Again, inhaling 4 through that nostril. Hold 16. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Unplug the left, exhaling 8. One more time. Inhale 4. Hold 16. Unplug and exhale 8. And then the last time, inhaling for 4. Hold 16. Unplug and exhaling 8. So that might seem like a lot, but that is actually one breath. That's cycling back and forth and back and forth. That's one harmonic breath. Okay, so now we're going to get into the 8 key breaths, and there's a few things to remember. One is the secret switch. Now that is placing the tongue kind of on the roof of the mouth. It's behind the 2 front teeth. There's a little palate up in there, your tongue. When you're inhaling through the nose, try to keep your tongue connected to the roof of your mouth. That activates an electrical circuit in the body. And then the exhale looks like this. So we're breathing in all the way in, deep into the belly, into the chest, upper chest, and then you'll hear myself or Ding LeMay say, big sniff at the top. You're literally capping off the breath, filling your lungs as to max capacity every single time, holding it all the way in. And then the exhale is a forceful exhalation. The tongue will kind of flop down. Takes a little bit to get used to, so just do your best. It'll eventually find its natural way to do that. And then there's also the thought. So before every breath, I'll say first the thought, and that is simply gratitude for the breath of life. So the way Ding LeMay taught it is, I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. You can say it however you want. I thank creative spirit, God, whatever resonates for you. But the idea is to just have that moment of gratitude before we embark on each of these breaths. Okay. I wanted to read you guys something that I found today. I'm always finding these little gems of wisdom of things that he's written. So he says, the whole doctrine of mental physics is nothing else but an instruction to show us how we may create a kingdom of light within us. In mental physics, we seek wisdom. Wisdom is not a knowledge referring to any external thing, but it is the understanding itself. It's comparable to the sun that has its own light and is the light itself, independent of any object on which it may shine. But man's science is like the moon, whose light has been borrowed from the sun. The spirit of you is you, the spirit of me is me, and we may rest from incarnation to incarnation with only the fire smoldering and the flame scarcely burning. But if we will it through our own, free will, we can, through our own creative power, learn to trace the fire and to fan the flame, to find the light and order our own being in perfect harmony with the divine majesty of true being, constantly fanning the living flame so that the living fire may gradually bring out the fire within us, the pure and worthy substance of ourself. Breath is the key. Through the wonderful revelation of the breath of us, the wind of wisdom, we may aspire in right learning and right action to enter into the mysteries. As we practice, we find that our own breath has led us to the fire. Practice and feeling transcends intellectual understanding. Success requires the mind to be in a God quality state, illumined by the spirit of truth. Now, this is all his writing from the 1920s. I love the way he wrote. It's a little bit different, of course, than the way that we speak now, and you'll hear that when we do the affirmations in his voice. But I do my very best to keep the integrity of the teachings, because they're thousands of years old ancient teachings from the monasteries of Tibet, and I'm going to teach it exactly the way that they were taught then, and then what I told my sister yesterday when we were talking about it, though, is if you're inspired when you're doing the work to say, you know what, I feel like I should put my tongue a little bit, further to the front, or I feel like maybe I should do something like this. I suggest you just give it a try, because there's a reason that feeling would arise in you, and we have to learn to listen to our own intuition. And if you learn to listen to your own intuition and you practice this breath work, it's going to take you deep inside yourself. You will start to understand. He says that mental physics, in the practice of it, so that intellectual understanding is awesome, but practice is where the progress lies. And when you're practicing the breath work, you're going to awaken all kinds of things in yourself. He says it helps anyone, no matter what religion you are, to go deeper into the holy books of the world, or to your understanding of what you think of as God or spirit or anything. It will help you go within yourself to find these answers on your own. That's the one thing I love a lot about the teaching. Although they called Dingle a guru, and there were gurus in the Eastern traditions, he believes that we are our own best teacher. The teacher is within us, and how we access that teacher is by doing the work. Okay, so the first breath we're going to do is called the memory developing breath. This one's done sitting. This is the only one done sitting. And this breath is supposed to, or this breath will help you remember who you are and why you came here on the planet, what your purpose is on the planet. We always joke that it's, you know, you're going to be getting so much oxygen into your body that it actually helps your physical memory, but it's really about your spiritual memory, what your purpose is here. Okay, so as we get started, you want to just sit with your heels touching. The heels are always touching because this creates a sevenfold position in the body, as if you're sitting in the lotus position. Okay, so you want to keep your heels touching. Remembering to pull the secret switch, placing the tongue on the palate as we're breathing in through the nose, deep into the belly, that kind of thing. Okay, so we get centered. Our palms are facing downward on the knees. And when we're done doing the breath, this breath is done. This one's the most involved. It's done in 3 sets of 14 breaths, and then a final triumphant 7. That's what he calls it. So it's 49 breaths that ignites the 49 fires in the body. Okay, and normally in mental physics, he doesn't teach all 8 key breaths right in a row. Remember, I told you about the initiate group course, and it introduces them one at a time after a couple of lessons. So if you're just getting started, we're going to go through all the breaths, but if you're practicing at home, just start with the harmonic breath and this memory developing breath. This is the breath that like purges. This will bring up all kinds of stuff that no longer serves you to be purged out of your system, so that we have more space and more light. Okay, this is just like a process of enlightenment, becoming more filled with light. Okay, palms facing downward on the knees. I'm going to show you how this breath goes, and then we'll do it together. So this, I always liken this one to the old-fashioned water pumps, where you're pumping it and pumping it, pumping it, and then as soon as you stop, the water starts to flow through the system. And it's the same thing with our bodies, where our bodies are like the water pumps. So it looks like this. Inhaling all the way in, the belly comes out. Just like that. And I'm going to go a little bit slower than he goes, just so you can get the feeling of it. Now remember, it's a science of feeling. So after the first 14, I'll say rest, rest. And at that point, you want to just sit quietly with your eyes closed and feel what's happening inside your body with all of that energy that you just breathed. Okay, be easy on your neck. It's not a force thing. It's just like a nice and gentle movement. It shouldn't hurt. So here we go. Palms down on the knees. Spine is always straight. You want to feel like something's pulling you up, so your spine is totally straight. Shoulders are back and down. Palms downward on the knees. Now first the thought. I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now all together we exhale. We get ready, and up, up. One more. Squeezing all the old air out and sitting quietly, watching. Just observing any feeling inside yourself. And now we get ready for 2 more 7s. All together we exhale. And up. Up. One more. Relaxing, making sure the spine is still straight. Head and neck relaxed, watching. Okay, 2 more 7s. Together we exhale. And up. Last one. Now this breath is likely to bring up all kinds of different memories or things or weird thoughts from the past. It can bring up any number of things. Just let it all be okay. It can actually, this coming week, things may arise for you. You might feel extraordinarily joyful, or you might feel weepy. Everything is okay. It's your body wisdom, knowing exactly what to do to purge these things out of you that you no longer need, so that you can allow more light. Paying attention to your feelings. Here we go for the final triumphant 7, giving it your very best. Palms down on the knees. All together we exhale. And up. One more. Squeezing all the old air out. Palms turning upward on the knees for the meditation. Eyes are closed. Relaxing completely.
And now I imagine that great light at the top of my head. The top of my head is heavy and relaxed. The forehead is heavy. The eyes are relaxed. The muscles of the face are withdrawn. The jaw gently drops. No pressure on the teeth. The arms and the hands are very heavy. But oh, how happy I feel. I feel happy all over, particularly in my beautiful face. My face is bathed in smiles. My whole body is bathed in the blushes of my smiles. I feel a gentle pressure from within, outward. And that gentle pressure is taking away all little lines of fear, care, inward disappointment, anything negative. I feel happy all over. Now I bring the light down. The chest is relaxed. The abdomen falls down. And the light comes down, down, down to the tips of my toes. And now I imagine that great light at the back of my neck. I'm looking down over my beautiful spine. It seems that I'm looking at a wonderful waterfall with the sunshine playing on it, so that I see a countless number of tiny specks of iridescent light. Light! Light! And I know my whole body to be full of light. If thine eye be single, the single eye, the third eye, the inner eye, the spiritual eye, the creative eye, the eternal eye. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. And I know that every cell in that countless number of cells in my body is a lamp, a light, a torch, bringing to me the light of the divine wisdom within me. The light being in perfect correspondence with the flame, as the flame is in perfect correspondence with the fire, the fire, the fire that is in the center of centers of centers of centers of my innermost being, the fire of divine love within me, within me. And so, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly I take a little breath and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. Now, I lock it up. I make it my own as I take another little breath and a quick sigh.
Okay, guys, that was great. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions about that? Okay, if you do, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask. One thing I did forget to mention is when he says lock it up, which he will say occasionally, that's after you've done the breath and you and we're at the very end. It's just to swallow. It's kind of like putting all that breath, solidifying it into the body. Okay. All right. The next one, which is the second of the 8 key breaths, is the revitalizing breath. This is done standing. And as always, when you're doing the standing breaths, the heels are touching to create that 7-fold position. Shoulders are always back and down. And this is the position for the rest of the breaths here on out, where you're going to be pulling down on the fingertips. So it's a dual feeling of grounded down into the earth, pulling down onto the fingertips. The knees are snapped back. The buttocks are as tight as you can possibly make them, pulling down. And then also imagining your body being lifted up. So you're being held right in the center, grounded, ascending upward. And one of the tricky things when you're first learning the breaths is as you're breathing in, the body kind of wants to relax a little. And also when you're exhaling, the body also has the urge to relax. What you need to do is keep that rigid posture throughout the entire inhale. And then we're just going to be holding our breath. While we're holding our breath, we're rigid and strong. And then through the exhale, same thing, keeping that tension. And then as soon as we exhale all our air out and we push it all the way out, then we can relax down completely. And then we'll stay standing for the affirmation on this one. Okay, so this one is just basically breathing all the way in, holding it until I tell you to let go, and then exhaling and relaxing for and standing for the affirmation. Okay, heels touching, everything is tight, knees snapped back, pulling downward on the fingertips, pulling on the secret switch, placing your tongue on the roof of your mouth, thinking upward. First the thought, I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. And now all together we exhale. Now keeping everything tight, you're breathing in all the way down into the belly, middle chest, upper chest, big sniff at the top. Holding it, keeping that tension. Strong and straight. I am the master of my body. I am the master of my body. Okay, now keeping the head upright. Together we exhale. And then relaxing right down.
Now we relax entirely, coming right down. As I think of, as I feel for the inner meaning, the hidden meaning of these sublimely simple words. I am whole, whole. Nothing is lacking. Nothing can be added. I am whole. I am perfect. I am strong. I am powerful. Full power. Every cell in my body is a complete power plant working for me. I am loving. I am that of which the universe is made, moving. I am loving. I am harmonious, in harmony, balance, poise, equilibrium. I am in harmony with the laws of this universe. I am rich. I am young. And now, as if innumerable streams of living light are coursing downward in the body, I am happy. I look happy. I feel happy. I am happy. And so, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, imagining that great golden shower of light going out in all directions, the secret of the golden flower. Slowly, I take a little breath and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. I lock it up as I take another little breath and a quick sigh.
Good job, guys. Feel free to chime in if you have any questions. The next breath is the third. It's called the inspirational breath. Same position for starting. And then as we're inhaling, our arms are coming all the way up so that the top of the breath culminates up here. And let's see if you can see my hands. So the right thumb is under the left. The hands form a little bit of a triangle. And then the exhale is done in 4 parts. Just like that. And then relaxing for the affirmation. Okay, the inspirational breath. We get ready, heels touching, knees snapped back, buttocks are tight. Again, shoulders back and down, pulling downward on the fingertips. And then the head and neck is always loose. Pulling the secret switch. And now the thought. I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now all together we exhale. Squeezing it all out. Now we inhale, breathing in, not too fast. Slowly breathing all the way in, all the way up. Right thumb under the left, triangle, big sniff. And now the triangle of manifestation. Send success to yourself in mental physics through it. Backs of the hands together, exhaling in 4 parts. Keeping that tension all the way through the exhale. And now relaxing right down. Completely relaxing after each breath, feeling after.
Now we relax entirely, coming right down, relaxing the whole body. I thank thee, Lord, for my body. My body, the transcendently beautiful, the infinitely intricate, but the most gloriously accurate instrument in this universe. My body, the temple of the living God, the temple of the God that lives within me, that is alive within me. I stand in reverence. I stand in adoration. I stand in veneration before the wisdom pent up in the very substance of my body. And I pledge myself, I vow, that from this moment henceforward, nothing that I shall eat or drink, nothing that I shall do or say or think, shall injure or abuse this temple of the living God, my body. And so, feeling happy upward, not thinking that I am happy only, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. I lock it up. It is my own. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh.
You guys are doing great. Hydrate break. Hopefully you're feeling good so far. I was feeling a little low today and I'm already feeling so much better. Yay. Okay. Breath number 4, the perfection breath. Here we go, guys. Position starting is the same. And then when we get ready, our arms come out in front like this. Our hands kind of in a fist, our thumbs just resting on top. Now it's funny because when I was taught, some of the students were taught to do their thumbs up like this. I was always taught like this. Again, it's one of those things you can play around with different ways of doing it and just see if you feel anything different. See what it does for you. Okay. Here we go. Position, pulling downward. Everything's tight. We get ready. Position. This one is when you're holding your breath. We're going to do 3 swings out to the side, forming a cross with our body. And they're nice and controlled movements. 2, swing number 3, and then we do arms at the sides and exhale, and then get ready for the affirmation. And you can sit down after this one if you feel like it. It's up to you. Okay. Here we go, the perfection breath. We get ready. Pulling that secret switch, everything is tight. Thinking upward. First the thought, I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now all together we exhale. Now breathing in deeply into the belly, all the way up into the chest. Big sniff at the top, filling your lungs. And swing number 1. Swing number 2. Swing number 3, keeping all that tension in the body. Arms at the sides. We exhale. And then completely relaxing right down.
Now we relax entirely, coming right down. As I prepare myself to think the greatest thought I ever shall be able to think. Whatever the Creator is, I am. Differentiated from all other life forms in this universe, I am the Creator in the human form. The Creator is right here, right in the heart of me, right in the mind of me, right in the substance of me, right in the being of me. Reveal thyself, O Lord of my life, O Lord of the eternal, thou that art the same yesterday, today, tomorrow, forever. Come, I wait, I listen, I am still, I watch within me. And now I will to see the Creator at work within the temple, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. Now I lock it up. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh.
Okay, great job. I'm gonna teach you the 5th breath, the vibromagnetic breath. Dingle calls this the first of the electrical breaths. You need some room around you because we're gonna swing our arms all the way around. So this one, same as the rest, heels touching. Start out in the same position. As we're holding our breath, we're going to do 3 swings around with our palms facing each other, all the way around. 3 times, nice and slow. And then arms at the sides, exhale, and then relaxing right down. Okay. Chime in if you have any questions or comments. Here we go. Buttocks tight, pulling downward on the fingertips, pulling that secret switch, thinking upward to the top of your head, rooting downward from the bottom of your feet. First the thought, I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. And now together we exhale. Now breathing in through the nose all the way deep into the belly, middle chest, upper chest, big sniff. And swing number 1, palms facing each other, keeping the tension in the body. Swing number 2. Swing number 3. Arms at the sides, keeping that tension. We exhale. And then letting your body relax completely, feeling after it.
And now we relax entirely, coming right down. And now I'm thinking of the loveliest thing I have ever known. The loveliest thing I have ever known. There it comes before my mind, that beautiful picture, perhaps from the long ago, perhaps from the far away, but there it stands perfectly clearly delineated before my mind, as if it happened but a moment ago. I thank thee, Lord, for my memory. I thank thee that I am able to bring back from the vault of the past any beautiful thing that is in my memory. And I pledge myself, I vow, that from this moment henceforward, nothing shall enter my memory. No idea of negation of whatsoever kind. No idea of disease, decay, senility, old age, disappointment, doubt, failure, death. Nothing shall enter my memory, but that which is in unison with all good and my own very highest conception of truth. And there I see my whole conduct. There I see the whole conduct of man. And so I will that that picture shall be lost again in the absorption of my being, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly, and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. And now I lock it up. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh.
Good work, ladies. We're going to do the sixth breath. Is very similar to the last, except for when we start like this with our right hand holding our left. And then when we straighten our elbows, you can see that straightens our spine. Okay, so we start like this, we unlock, our swings around, our palms facing downward. So we come all the way up and around. And when we come to the back, we touch our thumbs together. Kind of makes like a little triangle. And it's a discharge the energy. So up and around and touch. And we do that 3 times. So very similar to the last breath. This one's the cleansing breath. There is a cleansing breath meditation that sometimes goes between the 5th and the 6th breath, but you know, it's already a fairly long class just to get through these 8. So sometime in the future, I'll do that meditation. Okay, here we go. Position, everything's tight, just like it always is. And now we put our left hand in our right and we straighten our elbows, straightening our spine, keeping the tension. Now it's a little bit harder to get a full breath in this position, so just do your best. Pulling the secret switch. And next, the thought. I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now all together we exhale. It's Squeezing it all out. Now breathing in the deepest breath you've ever breathed, all the way in. Light, life, big sniff. We get ready, we unlock. Swing number 1, all the way around, touch the thumbs. Swing number 2, touch. Swing number 3, touch. Now we exhale.
And now, I imagine a great heat at the base of my spine. I can feel it coming up. It's coming up. And now I imagine a great light that comes from the flame, that comes from the fire, that gives the heat. It's coming up and out, up and out. I imagine a peacock feather of gold in my spine. It's coming up and out, up and out. It seems to strike upon the surface of my body. It seems to go beyond my body, up and out. Now I'm thinking of the top of my head, and I see my whole body to be full of light. The light of the divine wisdom that is in every living thing. And now I will fan the living flame that brings the light, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. I lock it up, so I take another little breath and a quick sigh.
Wow. Wow. Good.
Wow. Very good. When he said bring the light in, I had not only brought the light in, but my whole body, I swear, has got to be up in temperature right now. It's like, it's just all a glowing warm. It's really nice.
Awesome.
Thank
I
you.
love it. I felt a lot of tingles at the end of that one there. I was going to ask you guys if you feel that too. Sometimes when I do this or even meditate, it feels like electrical charge, like almost like it just recalibrates my being, and it makes sense. We're electromagnetic chemical beings. And when we're doing this, not only are we activating our electrical system, but we're flooding our chemical system as well. I mean, we're activating our entire being, It's so exciting. Thank you all for showing up to practice today. It's so great. Okay.
The thing that's happened for me is when I first started doing these classes, it felt like it was a really long time, but today it feels like I finished the breath and it's like the meditation just happens so fast. I'm like, here's my beautiful peacock and the light and the warmth and then it's like, oh, and inhale and exhale and take your swallowing breath and we're done. Like it.
Oh, you froze up there, Mindy. I got the gist of what you said.
I want to be a peacock for a little bit longer.
You kind of froze there for a minute, but I think I got the gist of it. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming. And then the next one, the 7th breath, is the grand rejuvenation breath. So this one is done with a new arm position. So you want to rest your hands on your hip bones. So like right under your rib cage, on your hip bones. And then we're going to pull the elbows forward. So this breath and the eighth breath have the same elbow position like this. You get used to it over time, but it is a little awkward in the beginning. So everything is tight. Again, you're pulling forward with the elbows. Now what this one looks like is we're going to breathe in all our big deep breath like we do, and then we're going to drop holding our breath, we're going to drop the head forward and back 3 times. Forward and back, forward and back. And then when we stand upright with our spine totally straight, we're going to exhale like we do all the way out, and with no air in the body. Once you've squeezed it all the way out from the bottoms of your lungs, you're going to pull downward like this. You're going to pull downward with the head, and then you're going to go back a little bit, and you're going to go down with the head. You do this 3 times. On the 3rd time, you stand up, and then you'll inhale, and then slowly drop the hands for the meditation. Any questions on that one? Nope. All right, good to go. The grand rejuvenation breath. Heels touching, knees snapped back, your body pulled all the way up, standing tall and strong and sure, pulling forward with the elbows. Pulling the secret switch. And now the thought. I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. All together we exhale. Breathing in light and life, keeping those elbows forward all the way in, big sniff. Drop the head forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. We stand upright, we exhale, squeezing all that old air out. We drop our body forward and back, forward, back. Pulling down on the head. We stand upright and we inhale, and then slowly drop the hands and get ready for the meditation.
I am youth. I am youth. I am youth. Now I remember my second lesson. I see before me that picture of my idealized self. I see that luxuriant hair, those sparkling eyes, that beautiful, beautiful face, unlined and happy, rounded neck, strong arms and hands. And now I come down over that beautiful being. I thank thee, Lord, for the truth of my being. I am youth, wondrous, glorious, vibrant, vivacious youth, achieving youth, fearless youth, full of courage, strength, power. I thought my body wore out and grew old, like an old pair of shoes. But now I know, as I stand in the presence, new cells are being made for me. I am being renewed. I sing, I shout, I rejoice. I sing the song of conquest. There is no age for me, no decay, no senility, no death. I am free, free, free from the ravages of time, free from all negation of my own mind. And so, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly and a long, deep, sweeping sigh.
Okay. Doing great, guys. We have one more breath, your own spiritual breath. If you're new and you want to learn more, I have a bunch of YouTube videos of different Dinglemay's talks and breath classes and stuff on the Science of Mental Physics on YouTube. Also, there's scienceofmentalphysics.com and also initiategroupcourse.com is an online Udemy class that is the first 26 lessons, the spiritual lessons that introduce these breaths, if you want any more information about that. And you can always contact me with any questions or if you need more information. So the eighth breath, the final breath of the 8 key breaths is your own spiritual breath. This one's done with the feet hip width apart. Same position as we did previously, where the hands are resting on the hips and the elbows are pulled forward. And what this one looks like is when you breathe all the way in and you're holding your breath, then we're going to go to the right. And as you can see, my left toes are still touching the ground, but my heel is up. To the left, heels up, to the right, to the left. We go 3 times on each side, to the right, to the left, and then we stand upright and exhale, and then stay standing for the final affirmation. Okay? Here we go. Your own spiritual breath. Position, elbows forward, pulling the switch. The thought, thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now all together we exhale, squeezing it all out. Now we're inhaling, bringing in light, life all the way in, big sniff. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. We stand center. We exhale. Remembering to squeeze all that old stale air out from the bottom of the lungs. And then the body will naturally take its next breath.
Now I'm thinking upward to the top of my head. I'm thinking joy, 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 joy. And now simultaneously we send it out. I embrace this class. I embrace all in mental physics, wherever they may be. I embrace the city. I embrace the state. And now I watch as I see those great waves of light rolling out, growing of their own nature. I embrace the country. I embrace the whole world. I embrace the whole human race. And now, with the light of the divine wisdom within me, with my love, with my joy, with my life, I embrace every living thing. And now I stand fast, lest the light be too great for me, as it returns to me by that mystic fourfold law, not from the one point from which I sent it, but from all the points. It's coming back, back, nearer, nearer, nearer. And now it embraces me. It embosoms me. It overwhelms me. That light of the divine wisdom, that love, that joy, that life that comes to me from every living thing, so that I know my whole body, this wide universe, to be full of light, light, light. And now I will charge every cell of my physical body with that light of the divine wisdom, that love, that joy, that life that comes to me from every living thing, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. Now I lock it up. It is my own. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh.
We're going to do one more thing real quick, but I wanted to show you some of the books that Ding LeMay has written. Hopefully this isn't showing backwards. My Life in Tibet. I don't know if you've seen these. Keys to the Mysteries of Life, Breath, the Flywheel of Life, Your Diet. Yeah, I can get you guys some of these little brochures. I need to really like retype them up or something so we have them, but The Power of Sound. Karen, you'd probably like that one. They're just all really amazing. This is a great book, My Life in Tibet. This is about his journey that he did across China into Tibet, and it's really interesting. He's just an interesting guy. You know what's cool too is there's a lady I met. As a matter of fact, I want to call her. I'm just reminding myself I need to call her. She let's see, I can't remember what country she's from. She's just like a woman in her 60s who doesn't have any kids or family or anything, and she said she found that book in Barnes and Noble. It's never been sold in a bookstore. It just appeared to her in the bookstore and she got it. But she followed his trek as a single woman all by herself and went and slept in the bushes and stuff, trekked across China into Tibet, followed his whole journey and met people that knew him and everything. So she contacted me with all this information, and we were going to connect and do like a podcast or something,